Hello everyone, this is Dustin Nulf with Keller Williams Realty's the Dustin Nulf team and the Full House LLC, Pittsburgh Property Management. We're going to look right now at how to generate over 400 leads a month as a real estate agent. So I started in real estate in 2008. It was February. The stock market had just totally plummeted, and everyone was saying, the real estate bubble is bursting as well, you're screwed. So it was an interesting time to get into real estate sales, and it was a time when a lot of agents were getting out of it. So when I came in, I really had to, learn how to generate leads in a larger quantity than you would if the market was better. And kind of due to that, I've always been able to generate a huge amount of leads, way more leads than I'll ever need. And it's kind of because if I always have more leads than I need, then I will never be out of business. So that's kind of my mindset, the way I look at it. So in order to generate a lot of leads like that, there are a couple of different ways to do it. But really the thing is that, even as an established agent who's been around for a while, it's very difficult to generate that huge number of leads from just the people you know. So you have to be reaching out to people you don't know. All right. And so let's look at the resources that an agent has to generate leads, and we're going to look at like the best, like the top 5 or so. And here they are. So you have expired listings. So those are homeowners who had their house on the market previously and they were unable to sell it and their contract expired. So now they're fair game if you want to list them or work with them. They're usually kind of ticked off at their last agent, so it can be difficult to convert them. But if you do convert them, they are people that are serious about selling their home. You have for sale by owners. For sale by owners are people who have listed their house for sale and they're doing it on their own because they think they can. And in a good market, in a seller's market, they are going to have more luck than in a buyer's market. So be aware of that. We're in a seller's market right now, so there's a lot more for sale by owners than there used to be. In a buyer's market, you won't see as many because it's more and more difficult to sell your home on your own in a buyer's market. These two these two types of leads are people who have essentially raised their hand and said, I want to sell my house. And in Allegheny County where we work, there's like 7,000 registered agents. The funny thing is that if you call either one of these on any given day, they may have talked to or heard from 7 or 8 other agents, and that may seem like a lot, but there's 7,000 registered agents in Allegheny County. So a very small portion of them are actually going after these people. So you have no competition if you go after these people. So there's 2 there. You have good old SOI, which is sphere of influence. Those are people you know, friends, family members, and people that you're friends of friends with. So sphere of influence is a great place to start. However, it's not the right thing for all agents. I personally didn't want to be working with my friends and family right off the bat because I didn't know what I was doing and I didn't want to screw up one of my friends or family deals. And to me, it just seemed like I wanted to show that I was more established before I started working with them. I also didn't have a whole lot of friends and family in the area that I worked, so I was kind of starting from scratch anyway. Sphere of influence, we're going to look at social media as well, and we're also going to look at allied resources. So allied resources are people that you do business with or you give money to. So if you go to a hairdresser or a barber on a regular basis, or you have an accountant or an attorney that you use, Those people, the way I see it is, I'm supporting your small business. You should support my small business. And if they're not going to, then find a new accountant, find a new attorney. There's a lot of them out there, and you want to be working with people who are going to also send you referrals as well. It should not be a one-way street. So these are your 5 main resources. I'm going to throw open houses in here too. The good thing about open houses, if you're doing an open house, you're going to have mainly 2 types of people there. You're going to have buyers who may or may not be working with an agent. You're going to have people who are just kind of thinking about buying too. So they're not necessarily going to be now buyers, but they are buyers. And you're going to have neighbors who say that they're just curious. They're looky-loos. And usually those curious neighbors are people who are thinking about selling, and they're trying to eye up this property and see how similar it is to theirs and what their property is going to sell for. So be aware of that when you're having open houses. So you're going to have buyers and sellers that are coming into open houses. In my opinion, so if you know the numbers, open houses do not sell the house. It's like 0.3% of the time you'll actually sell the house from an open house. It may even be less than that. So sellers love it when you have an open house because they think you're actually doing something to sell the house. Open houses typically do not sell the house. So the reason why you'd want to do them as an agent is for you to pick up more leads. So you're going to work with buyer leads that are going to end up buying something else, or you're going to pick up seller leads in that same neighborhood. So these are the 6 resources that you can use to generate leads. As a newer agent or an agent who's just getting established, I would recommend you just pick one. Just pick one and focus on it. And you might want to pick a secondary. So like I started out with that, and kind of that was probably my secondary with social media. And I didn't even need to do this because I got so good at that that's all I had to do. So you're going to pick one to focus on, and then you're going to pick a secondary that's going to be your backup. So when you get through these and it's not cutting it, then you're going to move on to that one, right? I would recommend, if I were starting again, it would be this, and then getting better at for sale by owners, because these ones are like right now sellers. You're going to get these people within 2 weeks usually. So those are our 6 resources. If you want to generate 400 leads plus a month, like we are at the Dustin Nulf team, you need to be doing more than just 1 or 2 typically, right? So the main way we're generating that many leads is because we're holding between 35 and 45 listings at any given time. So if you read the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book, you know that listings are leverage and listings are the foundation of your business. If you're a real estate agent and you're not heavy on listings, then you have no job security. I want you to understand that. You have no job security if you have no listings. You need to have listings. If you love being a buyer's agent, then you might want to talk to a team about partnering up with them and becoming a buyer's agent on the team, because when the market shifts, and it will shift, it always shifts. When the market shifts and it goes into a buyer's market, you're going to find that you're closing less deals because you don't have listings, and buyers are not reliable anymore because the market's scary. Not only that, but a team should be able to offer you administrative support and leverage so you can close more deals, work with more buyers, and deal with less paperwork, basically. But anyway, so we're talking about listings here. If you have a huge listing inventory, when you have a listing and you market it correctly, you're going to get buyers from it. For every listing that you sell, you should sell 2 buyers. This is my numbers, not anywhere else. If you have a listing, you should be able to get and close 2 buyers off of that listing. Okay? And that's if you're following up with them and you're getting leads and you're staying in touch with them. So if you have 10 listings in a year, you should sell 30 deals. You could close 30 deals off of 10 listings. All right. So we have a large listing inventory. We advertise our listings. One of the biggest resources for advertising our listings is Craigslist. So Craigslist is, believe it or not, one of the best ways to find buyers. I get clients and agents all the time that say, well, Craigslist, aren't you just finding scammers on there? Well, yeah, there's scammers on there, but the average user of Craigslist makes over $100,000 a year. You need to understand that the average user of Craigslist makes over $100,000 a year. So why wouldn't you have your properties on Craigslist? We get, in any given week, we're getting between 5 and 10 buyer leads from Craigslist. Not bad. A lot of our closed deals on the buyer side are originated from Craigslist. We're getting leads from Zillow and Trulia, and we're not paying for them. It's just because we have our listings on Zillow and Trulia. All right. Your broker should have an IDX site, and you should have an IDX site, and you're going to advertise your listings on the IDX site, and you should get leads from that. We advertise our listings on social media. So every time we get a listing, we post it out to social media. Every day our listings are cycled out and sent out to Twitter and Instagram and Facebook and whatever on a daily basis. And we're posting information about the property. We're driving traffic now back to our blog post about the property, which I'll show you one of our blog posts. But the whole idea is that, we want to drive traffic back to our site, which gives details on our listings. And then the detail pages drive traffic. So here's an example of one. So then the detail pages drive traffic back to our IDX landing page. So right here, when you click on, you want more information about this property, go here. Well, now you got to sign in. Well, people a lot of times are going to click one of these two options. It'll sign in automatically, and then we got their contact information. And when they sign in, they're agreeing to the terms of service, which means we can reach out and talk to them. So this is what our blog post looks like. It gives some detail about the property. It's got some of the best photos of the property in here. People can like it. They can tweet about it real quick. And that's how you generate some business. So blog posts, driving back to the IDX, and then here's the deal. Most of the leads that you get, most of the people that are looking at your properties, your listings, aren't going to want that listing. 99% of the time, they're going to look at it and say, man, I don't like the way that looks. And they're done. But right here, call to action. To create your own free search for homes in Lawrenceville, click here. Oh, okay. Well, now they can go in, and this takes them right to a Lawrenceville home search. They can see, oh, these are all properties that are for sale in Lawrenceville right now. Well, I didn't like that one, but I do like this one. I can click on it, and now we're capturing them. So we're able to capture them off of somebody else's listing because we're driving them to the IDX site. And that's the whole idea of the IDX site, is the brokers agreed to do this thing because it's good for all of the brokers. They're selling more listings this way. So use the IDX site and capture more leads with it. So that's what we're doing to advertise out to social media. So we're using Craigslist, Zillow, Trulia, Realtor.com, all those other ones. We advertise our listings on social media. Now I'm doing this from a business page. I'm doing it from a business Instagram page. But then I'll also advertise to my sphere of influence on my personal page, and I don't do just blast after blast after blast of listings. I do on my personal page, I'll do data about real estate. I'll talk about real estate. I do personal stuff and that sort of stuff. Like, I'm still posting like normal Facebook stuff, but I intersperse it with real estate things. So then, so through sphere of influence, I'm able to stay in touch with my sphere of influence without having to call them or email them or do, email campaigns or anything like that. They're just kind of seeing my posts come up on Facebook, and I'm staying in front of their face. And then, if they so choose to get into real estate, they want to become an agent, or if they want to buy or sell a house, they know that I'm in the business. And that's, so we're getting leads off of these. We're getting leads off of that. Our allied resources, we've partnered up with a couple businesses where, for example, property management company, they don't do sales at all, so they refer us their sales. We refer them management business. We also send them a referral check when we close a deal. So, if you're a big property management company and you don't do sales, wouldn't it be nice to make an extra $30,000 or $40,000 because you referred out all your sales to somebody else and you didn't have to work it, you didn't have to hire somebody to deal with that? As far as expired and for sale by owners go, every morning our administrative support staff will look up all of the expired listings on the MLS that expired at 11:59 p.m. last night, and Cameron will go through. She looks to see if they've relisted. If they haven't relisted, then we put them on a mailing list, and she mails a piece of direct mail out to them, a nice letter that explains what we do. We also subscribe to expired and for sale by owner Mojo data. So Mojo scrubs the internet and pulls contact information for the expired and for sale by owners, the sellers, and puts it into a database for us. And then every morning we move that database of contact information into our CRM, our IDX. So our agents are able to go in and look up phone numbers and contact info, email addresses and addresses for expireds and for sale by owners. So we're pulling lead data in that way as well. So we covered that also. And that's kind of it. I mean, a lot of it is just the internet presence, being out there on the internet. We get sign calls, so we have our direct number on our sign riders. And another idea that we'd like to implement in the near future is putting a QR code or a text code on our sign riders as well, which would drive them back to something like our blog post on the property or a landing page on the property. But what we're doing alone, this stuff that we just talked about here, we're generating in a bad month like 250 leads. In a good month, 800 leads. And right now we have I think 8 agents on our team, and basically 4 of them are full-time producing agents. So we're generating between 250 and 800 leads a month for 4 agents. So we definitely have more than any one agent can handle, or any 4 or 5 agents at the same time can handle. And the way I look at it is, that's great. We're able to kind of cherry pick the people who are the most qualified and the most serious about buying and selling. We can get them into a home. The ones that are just kind of time wasters or they're not ready yet, we can follow up with them and see if it works out in the future. But this, these systems, this advertising, this marketing, and what you want to do is you want to get it on, auto. You want it to auto populate. You want it to be on an autonomous system. So you want it to be able to generate while you're sleeping. And that's what we do. We use Hootsuite. Hootsuite's one of the apps that we use that is going to be posted. Like right now, it's posting on social media, and nobody has to sit there and babysit it. We just program it. We put the pictures in. We put the content in, and then just get it running. And we link it back to our sites. So we have traffic coming to our sites every day, all day long, because we have stuff like that that's just working while we sleep. So that's it. I hope that helped. I hope you learned something from it. If you like what you saw, please give us a thumbs up. Subscribe to this channel. See the link below. I do have a Patreon site, and if you like what you see and you want to learn more details and learn how to do some of this stuff, we'll show you step by step how to do it on my Patreon site. Go there, subscribe, become a member, support us, and I'll keep teaching you. Appreciate it. Have a good one.